of the companies that are out there, however you gauge their level of success, whether it's their culture, whether it's their stock price, whether it's their product, whatever it may be, they're all successful in their own minds. They provide employment. They provide a good product and a good service. It might not be exceptional, and they're all broken to a degree, every company. So therefore, that's an opportunity in my mind to help, to build for myself in the most intelligent way possible with other thought leaders. There's no one person that can build a company. It doesn't work that way.
There is a role in technology for business-focused people. And one of the things that Splunk got right, because I have been at other technology companies that are so engineering focused that it's hard for me to understand how the customer is engaged at all. And many times it could be an engineering focused customer, but you and I both know as you get into larger organizations, there's going to be finance people, there's going to be procurement people that are involved, that if you can streamline the engagement with them and you can be focused into their aspect of the business, you can sell better. Going back to the beginning, you felt like, oh, I was always a little bit on the outside. They were doing this very technically focused. I'm this business guy. And you found a way to take this vision of making sales more business focused, more business friendly. You start off as, let me just make it friendly, to no, let me actually deliver huge value to the business and give ROI, that then now has become a product that you're building a company on.
I felt like I had to build allies within the companies I worked in. And that was an accelerant to success. So if you were aligned with your chief counsel on how you were structuring contracts, then as a CRO or even as a VP, their interaction with the sellers is going to be simpler because they both know what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. And those are the swim lanes you described. And we all create these lanes. And if we stay within the lanes, we can probably go 150 miles an hour. But if we go outside of the lanes, it slows us way down to 50 miles an hour. Yeah. It's just all about alignment and narrative, and then automating that alignment and that narrative. And we called it, at Skillibrium, we call it cross-section.
I think in a career, there is a time that you are consuming a lot of knowledge because you're learning and you're building this skill set, and it reaches an inflection point. I know this happens to me. I mean, this is why I'm in this role, is now I want to be able to create, to give, and it can be a business, and that's okay. And I think many of us, as we are entering this phase of creating to give, I think we want to be able to deliver a great value, but we also want to continue to build equity, continue to build assets that increase in value, because ultimately that's what we learned. That's what I learned working at tech at great companies is, hey, I can actually build something of value that will then, continue to be an asset. And I think that, customers come to participate in these different offerings when it helps them accelerate. It reduces learning and allows them to get to different places quicker.
I'm a hard learner. Like, I have to put my hands on the keyboard and do it to learn it. So that to me is ultimately the goal of Skillibrium and or my existence for the rest of my career, is to make it easy for other people to do the same. It was very stressful to break through for me personally. And now it's not stressful. Like the job, I'm doing what I was now meant to be doing. It's totally non-stressful. There are hard days, but I'm excited to do it. We all go through waves in our career where we're not.
Well, and people need to realize and understand this too, is that, for all of us, the consuming and learning phase is hard, because I would say that it's the environment that we're in. And the environment is one that we love, right? We get this front row seat to the future. We get to impact the way that people work, and in some companies, the way people live forever. But it's at a cost, like it or not. High-tech companies you have to grow. You have to keep growing. And that means that the company keeps changing. You have to change every single year. You have to look back and say, what the things that made me successful last year are the things that will make me unsuccessful this year. I've got to change. Along the way, how important was it for you to be able to tell your story and articulate, what you accomplished in the way of results?
Steve Rowland, who I used to work for at BMC, he gave me my shot, and he's done great. He used to get on me because I would never work on my social brand. And I didn't have LinkedIn until 2010, like when I started Splunk. And I'll tell you that he was spot on. It was more about me getting comfortable promoting my personal brand and what I learned and what I believed in. And that's when my success and my career started to gain trajectory. Then the more comfortable I got with that, faster it went, because people want to learn. Everybody has a story, but everybody should learn from each other. The whole world will go faster. There's not only one way. Like, I want to be a sponge. So you nailed it. I do learn by doing and getting in a room with people. And I often think most companies where they fail is they attempt to tell their company what to do and how to do it, rather than immersing into what's going on today and how to optimize it. Not tell them, but work collectively to optimize it. And that means, you got to be coachable as a leader, as an executive. And most importantly, if you have a company that doesn't have a coachable executive, well, at least listen. You got a problem. You're just following along at that point, and you got to be able to contribute to the direction.
You, in your career, you could have taken the easy path and you could have ultimately been the astronomer and said, well, I've done some sales, I've learned sales enablement, I'm just going to be this astronomer. But you then said, nope, I'm going back into space, and you were an astronaut. You went and ran sales organizations. When people are thinking of leveraging their skills and they learn something and then going to actually do it and execute it, how would you describe the value of being able to invest and test in what you've built to go do it?
You only need about 80% of the knowledge, especially the later you get into your career, because your ability to be dynamic and adjust and learn the additional 20% for the role. Unless you're CRO to CRO and everything underneath you in both companies is exactly the same, which is not realistic ever, the roles are diametrically differently. They're different, even though the title's the same. So you're always going to learn something new. So to me, test and invest is compounding the skills that you learned in your career, applying them, learning them, and then refining them through each experience. So you should never stop. There's no limit. There really is no limit to it. It's just based on the risk you're willing to take and what gets you excited every day about the job or the role or the opportunity. There's no straight line to the top.